All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're going to talk about something that can feel incredibly complicated and honestly pretty painful. Those relationship patterns that just feel stuck. We're going to look at a psychological model that can be a total game changer for understanding and maybe, just maybe, starting to break these cycles.
So, does this sound familiar? You find yourself in a situation, and it feels like you're reading from the same script, playing out the same painful scene over and over again with someone you care about. And no matter what you do, you just can't seem to find the exit door. It is so frustrating.
Well, guess what? There's actually a map for this, a framework that helps us see exactly what's going on in those chaotic moments. It's called the Drama Triangle, and it is an incredibly powerful tool for bringing some clarity to the confusion. So first things first, let's just break down the model itself. Before we connect it to anything else, we need to understand the core pieces of this puzzle and the roles people play inside it. Okay, so this model was developed by a guy named Karpman. And the most important thing to get is that this isn't about heroes and villains. It shows how we can all fall into these three really predictable but unhealthy roles. And here's the key. Nobody stays in one role. People flip between them, sometimes in the blink of an eye. And that's what creates all that drama and whiplash. Now, let's bridge this to our main topic. Why is this drama triangle so incredibly relevant when we talk about relationship patterns, often seen with borderline personality disorder or BPD? Well, in this context, the roles don't just show up, they show up with a whole lot more intensity. Think of the core traits of BPD as gasoline poured on the fire of the drama triangle. That intense, gut-wrenching fear of abandonment, that can drive someone straight into the rescuer role. An unstable sense of who you are, that can make you feel like a constant victim. And that high emotional reactivity, that can flip the switch to persecutor in a split second. It's like these traits create the perfect storm for this triangle to just take over. So let's really get into the nitty-gritty of these three roles. We're going to look at each one by one, to really understand the mindset, the feelings, and the actions that go along with them. First up, we have the victim. And I need to be super clear here. This is not about someone who is genuinely being victimized by abuse or a crime. We are talking about a mindset of victimhood. It's a way of seeing the world. When you're in this role, it really feels like life is just happening to you. There's this deep, overwhelming sense of being powerless, like you have no control. You feel completely helpless to change anything, and you're pretty sure that nobody on the planet truly gets what you're going through. And this right here, this is the inner soundtrack of the victim role. It's this core belief that you're just destined to be left out and uncared for. And of course, that belief just keeps you stuck right in that corner of the triangle. Okay, next up is the rescuer. Now, this one is tricky because on the surface, it seems like a good thing, right? Who doesn't want to be helped? But as you'll see, there's a hidden cost. The rescuer is the person who is constantly trying to fix everyone else's problems. They're always putting their own needs on the back burner because deep down, their sense of self-worth is totally wrapped up in being needed. So you see, it's not really about pure selflessness. It's often a strategy to keep people close, to make themselves indispensable so they won't get abandoned. You can almost hear the quiet desperation behind these words, can't you? The help comes with invisible strings attached. It's a bargain, really, to try and stop the one thing the rescuer fears the most, being all alone. And that brings us to the third and final point on this chaotic triangle, the persecutor. This is where all that pain and fear can turn outward and get aimed at someone else. The persecutor's main strategy for dealing with pain is to make it someone else's fault. They point fingers, they criticize, they attack, because it's easier than feeling their own hurt or fear. And here's the crucial part. This role is almost always activated by a trigger, a feeling of being rejected or slighted, whether it's real or just perceived. Can't you just feel the raw hurt behind an accusation like this? This isn't just someone being mean for the sake of it. This is deep pain being weaponized. The persecutor isn't just angry. They're often terrified and using blame like a shield. So here's where it all comes together in a big, confusing mess. People don't just pick a role and stick with it. No, they can spin through all three of these in the span of a single argument. You might start as the rescuer, doing absolutely everything for someone, but then you feel unappreciated, and suddenly you're the victim. And from that place of hurt, it's a very short trip to lashing out and becoming the persecutor.
It's this lightning-fast cycling that makes these dynamics so incredibly exhausting for everyone involved.
Okay, so after hearing all that, you might be feeling a bit discouraged, but I promise you, this is the most important part of our entire conversation today. You are not doomed to stay stuck on that triangle. There is a way out. It's called the empowerment triangle, and it's a roadmap to a much healthier way of connecting with people. I absolutely love this slide because it shows the transformation so clearly. Every single one of those dysfunctional roles has an empowered, healthy counterpart. The victim can step up and become a creator. The rescuer can evolve into a coach, and the persecutor can transform into a challenger. This isn't just about slapping on a new label. It's a profound shift in how you see yourself and your power in a situation. So you're probably asking, okay, great, but how? How do I actually do that? Let's break down what it really takes to make that shift from one triangle to the other. So instead of being a victim, waiting for someone to save you, you become a creator. You start taking ownership of your choices and focusing on what you can control. Instead of being a rescuer who swoops in and fixes everything, you become a coach. You learn to support people and empower them without taking away their own strength. And instead of being a persecutor who blames and attacks, you become a challenger. You learn how to set firm, clear, healthy boundaries and to speak your truth without making it an attack. Look, making these changes is real work. It is not an overnight fix, but there are proven practical tools that can help. The number one most important first step is just awareness. Simply noticing which role you tend to fall into. From there, therapies like dialectical behavior therapy or DBT are incredible because they teach concrete skills. Skills in mindfulness and how to regulate those huge emotions and how to communicate with people effectively. These are things you can actually learn and practice to change these patterns for good. And that really brings us to the heart of it all. I want to leave you with this one question to really think about. As you look at your own life, your own relationships, which of these new empowered roles, creator, coach, or challenger, could you practice stepping into, even in one tiny way, starting today?